Nevi4256 and Dr. Sick, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Says, hey Zan, hope you're well. Also, have you heard that the Completionist scammed with charity? Some ordinary gamers went over it. I feel like the Completionist guy is like a really upstanding YouTuber, so that's like, one, if it's true, holy fuck, that hurts and sucks. And two, I like Muda. We are mutuals. He has donated to my streams before. I like him. However, our initial association started with me making a response video to a video he made where he falsely claimed the ADL had claimed that Pepe the Frog was a hate symbol and it was racist to use it. In which I went over the actual, you know, post by the ADL where they say explicitly that not all usages of Pepe the Frog are racist or anti-Semitic, that it is a very popular meme and it is important to consider the context of its usage before claiming that its usage is racist. Like, it's just right there. And I called that out, and he responded by saying, actually, fair enough, you know, I was wrong. And I respect Muda a lot for that, but he is not immune to making mistakes. So I hope this is a case where he just made a mistake. Thank you for the support, Makeem. I really appreciate it. Does anyone have a link to the some Ordinary Gamers video on it? I just call him Muda.
Hello,
right,
guys and gals.
Check this out. Whoa!
Mudahar, I'm going to start you off with a question. When you donate to a charity live stream and that money leaves your bank account and it goes to the charity, do you expect...
Oh, it's Makima? Oh, the character from Chainsaw Man? Sorry, I haven't seen Chainsaw Man yet, but according to my friends in Discord, it is, quote, Kino and, quote, peak fiction. So, I will certainly be watching it with them at some point.
That money to actually be going to the charity that you're donating to, or do you expect it to sit in a bank account for years? What do you think is the more logical option? Do you want your money to go that year, or do you want it to just sit in a bank account doing nothing to help a cause that you firmly believe in? Well, that's the question we're looking into today. Now, the YouTuber that we're actually discussing is known as the Completionist. Now, of course, ladies and gentlemen, you might be wondering...
For the record, I really like this guy. Like, I watch his Completionist channel, and I watch his appearances on other channels, such as Scary Games Squad with Jesse Cox. I believe he's on there. Like, I really like this dude. I'm pretty sure he's in other, like... he does a lot of collaborations with people I like. And I enjoy his Completionist content. This sucks if this is real.
Who is the Completionist? The Completionist is one of the more popular gaming channels. He's been around for a long time, and he makes some pretty awesome gaming content. What the Completionist also does beyond make interesting gaming content is run something known as Indie Land, an actual yearly event where industry veterans, independent gaming companies, big brands like Corsair and G Fuel, and some of the best influencers in the game all converge together to help raise money for charity. Indie Land is there to fight against dementia. Now, if you go to the big donate page over here, you'll find out that they work with the Open Hand Foundation. And this foundation was founded to honor the memory of Karen Khalil, the Completionist mother who ended up losing her life in a fight against frontotemporal dementia.
Dude, if this shit's real and he used his dead mom as, like, sympathy to scam money for charity fraud, that is actually fucking demonic. This is a crime, right? Like, what's being accused here? Like, this is an actual serious crime, I believe. So, like, this is a serious allegation we're talking about here. This isn't, like, YouTube drama. Gotta be an accident? I really hope so. I'm hoping for the best here. I'm hoping for the best here. I really am.
Dementia. And, of course, all the condolences, for sure. But when we looked into this charity, one of the biggest red flags showed up, and that was the Open Hand Foundation. Now, while it is a 501c3 charitable organization, tax-free, all designed for public charity, we wanted to look into this organization with a much more in-depth look, because we found something a little unsavory. And by we, I mean Carl Jobst and me. We were working on the story.
Dude, Carl Jobst is one of the best, like, YouTube journalist investigators out there. He is pretty peak. He does a damn good job. Muda, why aren't you subscribed? Muna, what's going on there? Uh-oh.
Together, and the actual results are very damning. So, ladies and gentlemen, when we looked at the Open Hand Foundation, they said, together, let's make a difference. And of course, the philosophy is, the more you receive, the more you give. The more you give, the more you receive. Life gives and life takes. And of course, if you look at their donation, they say that your gift will contribute to vital research for a cure for this devastating disease. Now, of course, they list benefactors like the University of California, San Francisco.
Okay. Oh, God, that's not a good sign. Okay, so, quick stun lock. Can you guys link me what I'm referring to if you know what I am talking about? Very recently, there was some massive medical breakthrough in the news, like headlines about like the first ever like it was some serious transplant, like something that sounds downright science fiction. It was like a brain transplant, brain and eyeball transplant or something, like a lung and heart transplant. The face transplant. It was like a face and eyes transplant. Yeah. Dude, that shit sounds downright, yeah, that was a recent thing. That shit sounds downright science fiction. The fact that that's the kind of stuff that we're doing right now? Dude, could you imagine how like, prolonged human lives could potentially be in the coming decades? Ball transplant, please. I would like it to be literally physically impossible to get a testicular torsion. The idea of that being a thing that can happen fills me with fear on a daily basis. Once you know that's a thing and you're a guy or you have balls just at all, you are in permanent fear of that. There's not a day that goes by you don't think about testicular torsions and be in fear of it.
I assume it's from San Francisco. Typos usually aren't a good sign when it comes to situations like this, but on their events page...
Yeah, testicular torsions are a cognito hazard. Thanks for reminding me. You're welcome.
They appear to have two events that help raise money for this charity, which...
Yeah, women can get testicular torsions too.
...is the Convenience Cup Challenge and, of course, Indieland. Which, ladies and gentlemen, we wanted to look even further into where this money that was raised by Indieland was going. See, in the news, you would just read that Indieland, for instance, in 2021, raised more than $100,000 for dementia research, which is crazy awesome. Over the weekend, annual live streaming event raised more than $100 grand for charity, organized by YouTube star Jirard Khalil, aka The Completionist. And of course, it's the same story that you'll find on other websites like Dual Shockers, which again says in 2022 they raised $80K for dementia research. And of course, these are massive like news articles to see. It's feel-good stuff. But this is where I feel like these news sites should have dug a little bit deeper, because what me and Carl found was very questionable. All right, so how do you vet a charity yourself, ladies and gentlemen? To vet a charity, you go to any of their websites, and usually at the very bottom, you'll find something like a tax ID, an EIN number. For the Open Hand Foundation, it's 300827510. You copy that, and you can basically go to the IRS charity lookup right here. So again, it's as very simple as going to Google, typing in IRS lookup.
Wait, why is he hiding his search results? Bro? Come on, man. Let's see those autofills. Come on. Come on. I'm just joking. I imagine he just doesn't want to have to worry about, like, anything popping up that YouTube will just scan and assume, nah, not gonna monetize you. Fuck you. Anytime you see censorship like this in a video, just assume it's to avoid getting demonetized most of the time. People ask in literally every comment section of every video I upload, Why does your comment section, why is your chat blurred in the opening and ending bits of your videos? And it's like, guys, if you guys swear or say anything that the YouTube algorithm doesn't like in the opening bits of my videos in the chat that's on screen, I get demonetized for it. That's why. So yeah, that's probably why. He doesn't want to have to even risk it.
And here you can see tax-exempt organization search. You click on that, and you put in the EIN number in this field and hit the search button. And that takes you to the Open Hand Foundation. You open that one up right here, and you can see a lot of their letters too. For instance, this determination letter that shows that they've been active since 2014. And again, this is their...
Man, I really hope this isn't real. I really hope this is a misunderstanding or a mistake, and this isn't, like, Jirard stealing money. Dude. Dude, I am so fucking worried. I like him a lot. This is one of my favorite content creators that doesn't do politics stuff. I've watched his content for, like, 6 years, maybe? 7 years now? I am, like, filled with dread. I am genuinely filled with dread. Like, I am actually, like bone chill, like, shivering, filled with stress and dread about this. I'm not even joking.
This is basically them showing when they were active from, okay? So they've got their tax forms, their 990 PFs, which basically shows the money going in and hopefully the money going out. So these are all public records, and you can look them up for yourself right now. And we went to ProPublica, and they have tax filings all the way from 2014 up to 2021. So at this moment in time, me and Carl decided to look down the actual file.
Okay, so maybe it wouldn't be fraud then if they didn't... If, like, you would look at their tax forms, they never, like, filed that money that they received as charitable donations. And so that is maybe how they know that there's some fishiness happening. But then it wouldn't be tax fraud because they didn't falsely report it as charitable donations in that case. That's the only thing I could imagine would be the evidence he'd have, right? Let's see.
Filings year by year, and we found a pretty massive discrepancy that to everyone we showed has raised every red flag imaginable. So back in 2014, this open to public inspection note, you can see that the Open Hand Foundation raised in revenue $33,000 in contributions. If you look at their operating and administrative expenses, they had nothing to spend. So that also includes contributions, gifts, and grants paid, line 25, which would mean money going to other charitable organizations or grants that you're providing for, you know, Alzheimer's research, for these charitable causes. And of course, if you look at their balance sheets, at the end of 2014, they had $33,756 sitting in cash in their accounts. So then we go to the year 2015, and we looked that they made $60,000 in contribution revenue. They spent $27,686 this year. But that puts them from having $33,756 in their account at the beginning of the year to having $66,000. Remember, it's the amount of contributions they make minus their operating expenses. What's interesting is line 25. They paid nothing in contributions, gifts, or grants at all. They did, however, spend $28,000 in administrative expenses.
Okay. Chat, do we have any tax experts, U.S. tax experts in chat that can confirm or deny if this is like a smoking gun, that the raised money never went to a charitable organization? Because if it did and it wasn't reported here, that's a false report. Or I guess it's not really... if you donate money to charity and just don't claim it as charitable donations and just pay that money in taxes, the IRS doesn't care. The IRS does not tend to care if you accidentally give them more money than you owe them. They care if you give them less on accident. They'll mail you back like the money that you send them extra, by the way. It's happened to me before. Like, they'll literally mail you a check because they know how much you actually owe them. You don't need to, like, we don't actually, we Americans, in a good America, wouldn't have to actually do all that shit ourselves. But it's funny as fuck. Yeah, so this seems pretty smoking gun. Ooh. I'm not a tax expert, but this does seem kind of bad. It's kind of bad. but wouldn't charity mean paying less in taxes? It feels like there's no sense to lie about this. Well, because here's the thing. If they held on to the money and didn't pay it into a charity and didn't claim it as such, then they would be having the money, right? And if they claimed that they donated it, but they kept it, they'd be committing tax fraud, which is like a super felony, you know? So, yeah, that's not too good.
Then we decided to go all the way to the year 2016, and the pattern became even more interesting. $40,000 they raised in that year. Then they went down and apparently spent $11,599 in administrative expenses. How much did they spend in contributions paid? $0. And of course, you can see that at the beginning of the year, they had $66,000 that they started off with. And
so each year, their bank account is just accumulating the money. It hasn't moved anywhere. The math lines up. The money's not going anywhere after 3 years. The money wasn't donated. We know that because even if this is a mistake, even if this having a 0 here is a mistake or a misreading, the account is growing. Aren't they tax exempt as a 501c? That's not how it works. Even if you're tax exempt, you still have to go through the paperwork. Because America. Like, you have to announce that and file the paperwork to, like, file your income from charitable causes as tax exempt. Is that legal or just a loophole? This is almost certainly illegal. This seems very bad. This seems like pretty solid evidence, and if this is true, it is bad, and I'm pretty sure, like, criminal.
And $94,000 in the bank.
And this is accumulating up to be a lot of fucking money, by the way. A lot of money. And a lot of repeat offenses.
So then we went to the year 2017. And if you can imagine the pattern, they made $31,000. They spent $11,000, still paid $0 in contributions or grants to these charities, and started with $94,000 and ended with $115,000.
None donated.
Then, of course, ladies and gentlemen, 2018 rolls. They make $113,000 in contributions, in revenue. They spend $14,144 in operating expenses. Then, of course, they still pay out $0 in contributions, starting the year with $115 in the bank, ending it with $215, $028 in the bank. 2019 rolls around. They make $123,000. They spend $12,394 in operating expenses. Actually, $13,029. Point is, they still spent $0 in contributions paid. That started them off with $215 that year, ended them with $325, $850.
Fuck, man, this is solid. Fuck, dude. It's over. It's fucking over. This is all you... There's more. There's so much more to this video. Oh, but it's already over, though. Oh. Jesus. This fucking sucks.
15. The year 2020 rolls up. Turn of the decade. $122,000 that they've earned in contributions. Again, still contributing $0 to these charitable organizations, but spending $6,140 in operating money. That started them with $325, ended them with $442. 2021 rolls by. They make $136,000 in contributions and donations. Donate $0 this entire year too. Spend almost $30,000.
Over $500,000 has totaled up. Oh my god.
In administrative expenses.
That's so much fucking
money. This
money.
starts them with $442,000, ends them with $549. And if you think I'm getting too long-winded, don't get me wrong. We're at the last year, 2022 of their filings. They make $117,000. Then they somehow spend $11,000, but still contribute $0 at all.
What's the total now?
So again, this starts them with $549
$655
and ends them with a whopping $655,000 in the bank. That seems about right. Indieland is raising $600,000. Obviously, there's a bit more money that they've earned from various other events.
Off the back of trying to get sympathy points for his dead mom, dude. That is monstrous. Like, that is actually monstrous. Hold on. I'm bringing up Twitter. We're checking his Twitter. Oh, good. How much do you want to bet his Twitter will be locked? Or inactive? November 11th was the last time he tweeted anything. And oh boy, is the ratio on the tweet insane. Let's see, tweets and replies. Yeah, this is his most recent post. 639 likes and 123 comments. This is the moment Jirard knew he fucked up. Thank you for being our friend. You mean the world to us. From Yacht Club Games. Is this creators of Shovel Knight and Mina the Hollower? Before shit gets real nutty, I'm just going to say I'm holding out hope and benefit of the doubt that there's just some misunderstanding going on. Jirard, hope it gets cleared up and everything is cool. When can we expect a statement on the charity? The IRS enters chat. Where's the donation money? Hey, what's going on here? Willing to hear your side of the story, but this really isn't looking good. You always came off as a really genuine dude. Cool video, bro. You scam people via fake charity. So where's the donation money going? Dude, you've got some explaining to do. The community is disappointed. If what you said to Muda and Carl was true, please write... Oh, apparently there's more to the video. Please write you're wrong and donate the money ASAP. Reminder, what happened is still on the very shady level, but nobody has proof of wrongdoing or illegality. Just red flags. If it's enough to stop watching The Completionist, it's up to you. It is for me. I'm not coming back until I see receipts and the whole team being in the clear. Filthy and fraudulent. I've got a bad feeling things are about to go down. People here watching 2 videos and already making judgment without letting him give a statement is exactly what's wrong with the internet. And especially this platform. Carl is a good source and trustful, but I still wait for his side. What a shame is all I can say. You have some explaining to do. That's a fucking yikes for me, bro. Yikes, dude. Absolute fraud. I am flabbergasted. The little guy changed mine too. Okay, that's an older tweet. That's one from before. The timing is insane. I hope you go to jail. Nah, bro, nah. Where is the money? It's insane that new game Plus is almost done. Wow, somebody doesn't know what's going on. It's interesting, the Shovel Knight studio. The studio, Yacht Club Games. We are the developers who have dedicated our lives to video games ever since we saw our first pixels. Creators of Shovel Knight and Mina the Howler. Or Hollower. Yeah. Apparently they came out 3 hours ago in support. So that might be a good sign. I don't feel like a game company would make a public statement in support of somebody in drama like this if they didn't have, like, some pretty decent, like, evidence that he might be not in the wrong. I don't know. He has not made a response yet, but apparently we hear from him in this video.
And more contributions, but the point is, this is still money that's sitting in their account. Now, me and Carl actually started a conversation with Jirard to get his side of the story, and he confirms that the money is still sitting in the account.
To answer your question, Carl, I don't have an answer. You know, I think that's my fuck up. I have personally donated to AFTD and Alzheimer's Association over the years, and that's where, again, I assumed the money was going there to support them as we were talking negotiations about working with them. I don't really have a true answer for that, and that's on me completely, and I will own up to that. But, you know, again, it doesn't fucking...
How much do you want to bet that they got him into a call and then blindsided him with asking about this? He does not seem prepared to respond to this question at all. Don't
have an answer, you know? I think that's my fuck up. I have personally donated to AFTD and Alzheimer's Association over the years, and that's where, again, I assumed the money was going there to support them as we were talking negotiations about working with them. I don't really have a true answer for that, and that's on me completely, and I will own up to that. But, you know, again, it doesn't fucking matter. You guys are going to say what you're going to say, and I can't stop it. But the important thing is that all the money...
That's not a good sign. There's a lot of red flags here, guys. This is very latent... Not latent. Very riddled with red flags, if I do say so myself.
Is still in the account. None of it's spent erroneously. It's all above board. Like, it's not hiding in a Cayman account or anything like that. Yeah, and that's the thing about 501Cs is that, like, if I did any of that, the minute I did any malpractice of that nature, literally the government would be like, hey, we're coming after you. And that's, you know, at least legally speaking, everything's above board. And I understand that the question isn't so much legality and so much more about morality in, you know, me advertising this event and showing people sponsors and all that.
It's been like 5 years. Like, how many years has it been? 5? I think he went over years of tax documents. That's a long time for money to be piling up into that account and to be doing that yearly charity. I mean, listen, innocent before proven guilty, and trust me, I've got every reason to be biased in favor of the Completionist. You know, he's a YouTuber I've looked up to for, you know, for as long as he's been apparently doing this charity scam, apparently, allegedly. Yeah, I have every reason to be biased in his favor, but it's just not looking good, guys. It's really not looking good, in my humble opinion.
That stuff.
Now, I think it's quite interesting to almost make it sound like this is about to be some crazy drama story, when in reality, this isn't some tabloid journalism we go for. I kind of find a weird insinuation of that a little bit insulting for me and my colleagues like Carl, people like CoffeeZilla, people like Barely Sociable, who do deep...
Yeah, they've taken part in like exposing crimes.
Dives and investigative pieces on situations like this.
I guess what I'm asking you guys is, what do you want me to do as soon as possible? If it's like, hey, Jirard, we want you to shut up and take the L so we can make content, that's fine. If that's what you guys think is the way to go, to call it a scam, sure. But I'm not trying to scam anyone. I would never try and scam in honor of my mom. Like, this is, I would not be outward facing knowing that I can get raked through the coals for this.
This isn't drama. This is erroring at best at severe negligence, or it could go into actual charitable fraud. Now, this definition came from legalmatch.com.
If this is a legit, like, fuck up, I really don't feel like he would respond all defensively by saying you're just trying to stir up drama. I feel like he would have an explanation. The fact he doesn't have an explanation is insane.
Which actually said charity...
Doesn't it feel like now if we wait for him to have a statement, that statement's gonna feel a lot less, like, believable than anything he said there? That was him caught off the fly. Like, if something happened and you know what happened, you don't need time to prepare a statement to explain what happened. You just tell the two people in the call what went down. If it's all a big misunderstanding. The fact that he's now going to take time to make a response, no doubt, is a really iffy thing for me. It makes me feel like that response can't be trusted when we've already seen how he responds off the cuff.
Charity fraud is when someone takes advantage of a charitable or nonprofit organization for their own personal gain. Fraud is defined as intentional deception or misrepresentation made for personal gain. Defrauding a charity can be anything from falsely claiming to be a victim of the disaster in order to get money from a charity, to stealing donations from a collection tin, to setting up a fake charity and pocketing the donations. However, fraudulent activity can also occur when people make dishonest or inflated claims about how much money they have raised or how much it has helped the cause. And again, the dishonest claims are ones that we're going to be looking into now. So again, even with the legal match definition, one of the most common ways to commit charity fraud include pretending to be a charity or falsely claiming to be affiliated with a legitimate charity in order to solicit donations. So at this moment in time, this is where me and Carl decided to look deeper into the Indie Land streams, just to see if they were being very up and honest about the definitions of this charity, and if the money was actually supposed to be earmarked and kept,
Oh boy.
or it was going to some legitimate organizations. Let's listen closely.
Guys, welcome to Indieland. For those of you who don't know what we're doing, we're raising money for dementia research and prevention, helping victims who not only have dementia, but the families of those around them. It's obviously a very important cause. I could talk today, near and dear to my heart. I was 10 years old when my mom got dementia, and it's been a journey for me and my family. And so this cause is obviously very personal, and that's why we're here today. Bits, donations, subs, buy the shirt, buy the coin, buy indie games, all that
Buy
stuff.
the coin?
All of it is going to the benefit of helping others.
As in crypto? We need info on that. No? Okay, it's not crypto? Saru, is it not crypto? Or are you just saying no? Like, no, not crypto as far as I remember? It's not crypto? Okay.
For this charity event.
So again, if that is a true statement, then the actual filings would reflect that. Again, we looked through every single aspect of their public filings and found that they didn't contribute anything. In fact, me and Carl even went down and actually got a comment from their organization. And it reads like this in one actual message that we received. Dear Carl, thank you for your inquiry regarding the financial activities of the Open Hand Foundation. We recognize your concerns and are glad to offer clarity in our operations and missions. So again, they actually said, since our official registration, and that was back in 2014, we have been evaluating potential beneficiaries who align with our visions, entities that could use our funds efficiently and effectively without a significant portion being diverted to administrative expenses. We asked Jirard about this, and it pretty much seems like what they have said to us in writing matches what he told us in an interview.
Whether it's UCSF or a partner that's
Okay.
also on our website, because we don't have any other benefactors currently. Like that's why I was like, well, they're taking care of it, but nothing was ever brought to my attention. I just knew that conversations were happening between Alzheimer's Association of America, AFTD Foundation, UCSF started a new organization, I think called like Bluefin or Blue Group, which is like supposed to be their 501c part of their organization. So I know I have a paper trail of us talking to other organizations as early as 2020 and 2021 in an attempt to pay them what they were owed. Most of the conversations we had from some of the bigger orgs like Alzheimer's, they were like, look, if you're not going to pay more than 6 figures or 6+ figures of what they asked for, then you're just going to waste it. So the goal on the back end for my family that I've been told is like, we're just going to raise a bunch of money and then give it to one org and like make a bigger impact rather than just giving smaller donations that don't move the needle.
Now, I think this is a very, very dumb point in the...
Wait, that's actually theoretically acceptable, but needed to have been like stated, right? To be fair, the money is just accumulating. It's not like there's no amount getting spent, right? Like it's just sitting in that account accumulating, and it is getting reported, right? So it's not getting spent on anything. So the idea that it's being saved up for one massive donation, which of course the purpose of that would be to hit headlines and get a lot of attention, which can be both a selfish motivation and an altruistic one, because you do want your charity to get more attention just for the sake of it being more effective. That's plausible. That's definitely plausible. I can see that being the case. That's a plausible claim. Yeah, but that needs to have been communicated. If like they weren't actively donating after each stream the proceeds, yeah, that needs to very much have been like stated and communicated.
The sense that, again, bear with me, If I go to an actual charity right now, for instance, the Alzheimer's Association, one thing you'll see is they'll ask me to gift an amount that is as low as $35. Now again, if the idea was that a small donation was somehow going to be more geared towards financing this organization's administrative costs versus actually helping Alzheimer's and contributing to the cure, then they should just tell you, why the fuck would you donate $35? Donate $35,000 instead. That's going to matter more. See, the idea of this money going to a doctor's salary is, again, like, who do you think is going to do the research on this anyways? Of course it's going to go to salary for researchers, doctors.
I literally am about to, like, donate all this money today. And prior to that, earlier this week and the week before, and I've just been sitting here crippled trying to figure out the best way to handle this, because I felt like if I donated the money the minute you guys emailed me, it'd be a situation of, well, he's trying to hide it and he's admitting guilt by doing that. And I never felt that way, but I understand completely that you guys could easily argue that, and it would just make me look more like a scumbag. And, you know.
He's so defensive, dude. He's so defensive. He's so defensive when a simple explanation would suffice, and he's, like, pulling out every, like, attempt to make himself look innocent in the book. It really comes off as there's just a lot of red flags here, guys. I don't know what to say. I'm detecting them left and right.
I just wanted, you know, I want to do right by you guys and what you think. When you guys got the email and I said, please tell us about benefactors, that was genuine, because I haven't found a benefactor that I'm completely happy with, and I want to make sure that this money goes to a good cause in honor of my mom, and I'm upset that the conversations I've had haven't gone the way that I wanted. And I'm willing at this point to...
Something that's, like, that helps Jirard here is that the amount in the account has not dropped. No money's being taken out to be spent on, like, other shit from the looks of things. Like, it's staying there over the course of years and years and years, which would, you know, corroborate his claim that he's saving it up for one massive donation. But once again, if that's the case, that needed to have been communicated. Like, that the money wasn't directly getting donated after each charity stream. Or event. That's a must-know thing.
Just donate the money to whoever. I want it to go in the right spot. I don't want it to go to some doctor's salary or some expense bill for a massive organization that it's not going to do anything for.
There's probably going to be administrative costs, but it doesn't mean that charities only function when you give them a lot of money. In fact, a lot of charitable donations are just drips and drabs that add up to serious amounts. And based on the filings, with over $600,000 sitting in an...
Most of my living that I make and use to, like, pay my rent and buy food and whatnot comes from, like, a cumulative amount of you guys, a bunch of you guys donating very small amounts, all adding together over the course of the month. You guys just, a bunch of you all just donate $5, and that accumulates to be more than those of you guys who drop the big donos. And the big donos help a lot, don't get me wrong, but those tiny donos make up a very sizable portion of the total that I make. They add up. Same thing for charities.
Account, that's going to do an actual difference in the world. At least more difference than just sitting in a bank account anyways. Now again, Jirard will tell us how you make this right. And again, instead of worrying about how...
Cypher says, I'm a tax accountant. It doesn't necessarily mean the money is in an account. They could have used the money on themselves, and when it came time to distribute that money, they would just have to use personal funds to cover what should have been in the account. The IRS doesn't track bank statements and such to confirm what you report unless they audit the org. Ah, okay.
The internet perceives you after watching this video
So
or
I
this
guess
news
that
story.
isn't really
you should just donate the money to the charity.
It's illegal, though? So yeah, apparently what I said before isn't necessarily a point in favor of Jirard. Woo. In that case, things are looking bad.
That you've said. Going back to their comment, they wanted to address the regulatory frameworks with which 501c3 organizations like ours operates. We are subject to stringent regulations and are required to maintain compliance with federal laws. Our operations are transparent to regulatory bodies, including the IRS, and are subject to review to ensure adherence to these laws. Should there be any irregularities or misuse of funds, agencies such as the DOJ would intervene. Dude, the US government is not God, okay? Just because there's probably a lot of bad things going on, transparently to the world. Remember, the IRS and the DOJ are human organizations. This probably isn't even enough money to show up on their radars. It'll show up on their radars now that people are reporting about this, but in general, just because you are a 501c3 organization doesn't mean that you are immediately in the clear. Obviously, the IRS...
God, who's still huffing the copium here? Who here is still huffing copium? Oh, Hunter Avalone, thank you for the raid. I really appreciate that, buddy. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for the raid. Welcome, welcome. We're vibing. We're watching Mudahar's new video on The Completionist, one of my favorite content creators for quite some time now. You know, growing up, getting exposed for allegedly committing charity fraud of upwards of $650,000, by the way. So, yeah, it's looking spicy.
Should audit this after we've come to this. Any accountant that I've shown this to has brought up red flags after red flags. Even in the year of 2015, to show you their other expenses.
Same, yeah, there was an accountant chat just a second ago who was like, yeah, this isn't looking good. Like, he could totally still be pulling money out for personal usage and just covering it with personal funds. Oh.
Expenses schedule. What's insane is when it comes to expenses, they've literally put expenses in just a general bucket called expenses. $27,000 that they spent. Again, not really even breaking this down. You got your business registration fees for 50, your taxes for 425, but any accountant will tell you this is just an audit waiting to happen. If the IRS sits down and audits you, they're going to make you break down exactly what $27,000 in expenses are. Especially when I looked up the expenses year after year after year. 2015, they spent 28 grand. 2016, they spent 11 grand. With such variations, the IRS should ask you why you spent $125,000 and exactly how. Again, you should just be forthcoming and transparent. And I have no doubt that the federal government will probably want to look into this. And they should. And one of the things is, to compare it to another organization, this is the 990 filings of the Alzheimer's Association, and you can see instead of just writing expenses, they actually
they make a lot.
Exactly where and how they're spending the money. This
million.
is the kind of accounting you want to see, not just throwing it into one bucket and calling it a day. So then they ask me and Carl a really wild question, okay? As we actively search for a partnership that meets our high standards, we welcome any recommendations you may have for our potential.
Yeah, with all the reports he's probably getting to the IRS now, he's definitely getting audited at this point, for sure. Like, we'll find out if any fuckery's going on based on that, at the very least.
Potential benefactors. If you are aware of any organizations or research entities that might share our dedication that could benefit from our support, we are more than willing to consider them in good faith. Dog, why should we, the journalists, do your job for you? You're the charitable organization. You've just been holding on to money when your only job was to find who you should donate to. It is actually wild that people are donating to this foundation and not knowing that their money was just sitting there the entire time. That's the real deceptive part of this. The entire time we were sitting here wondering, yes, our money is going to dementia research, when in reality, nothing was given, it seems, according to these filings. And that money might as well have not existed, and the fight against dementia is not being assisted at all with your money if you were giving it in this fashion. And while, again, we talked with Jirard, he says, how can he make this right? It's donate the money to the charities that you said. That'll make a difference. If the money is there, which you said it is, and according to these filings, there are, just donate the money. So Carl responded with, "Hi Jack, thank you for your detailed response. I would greatly appreciate if you could clarify. Why do you have the UCSF listed as a benefactor on your website if OpenHand does not even contribute to them? Is UCSF the institution you referenced that you made contributions to before the official registration that you believe made insufficient progress? Good point to make. If so, why do you believe they made insufficient progress? Would you also mind clarifying what you mean when you say you donated body parts? Lastly, do you believe that donors have a right to know that their donations have not gone towards dementia research, as they were led to believe? Indieland has been running since 2018. Do you think it's appropriate that it continues to ask for money when it hasn't contributed any of it or even knows where the money will go? And this is the most baffling response from this organization. Carl, UCSF is acknowledged on our website as part of our historical contributions. As the foundation strategy has evolved, so has our selection of research partners, always with an eye towards more effectively advancing our mission. Now, again, looking into their filings, throughout the years, one thing...
So it's like they're trying to stall for time to justify holding on to the money, almost. It's how it feels. Like they're trying to find, like, yeah, we're just really trying to find the perfect organization. That kind of process takes a streamer or a YouTuber like a month. Or like a week, and then they do a charity stream for a charity they vetted, and it's like all good. That, like, this just isn't This just isn't a good argument. That money ain't helping anyone. Not as it is right now. But I mean, if it goes to where it's meant to go, I mean, it's maybe just a drop in the bucket. But I mean, think about diseases that today are considered absolutely trivial that literally 100 or so years ago were death sentences that we've cured. You guys know tuberculosis was like a death sentence almost always and super common and contagious and like a massive killer of like people for a long fucking time. And that not being a thing we have to worry about is pretty goddamn new. The money going to research helps. Don't resign yourself to thinking that these diseases are a thing that humanity has to deal with forever.
Is apparent. Everyone in this organization, if you look at the breakdown of their employees, it all just appears to be family members listed as presidents, directors, VPs, and secretaries. And they've worked 0 hours, meaning they haven't been compensated, but they also haven't done shit, apparently, according to the filings. So then they say the specifics of biological donations are secret, obviously.
I love John
The Open
Green.
Hand Foundation ensures all donors that funds are conserved with diligence and foresight earmarked for research endeavors that align with our stringent criteria for impactful use. The Indie Land event embodies our mission to raise both awareness and funds diligently and responsibly. Nowhere on their own website or Indie Land's website have they written somewhere where they said, hey, listen, you can contribute to this incredible cause. Your proceeds go to charity. If you told me instead of going directly to the charity that it was going to your own bank account, sitting there collecting dust for years, then people probably wouldn't donate, okay? This is absolutely deceptive. Like, the Open Hand Foundation apparently says that it ensures the donors that it's going to be earmarked when they just say your gift will contribute to vital research for a cure.
Look at me, I beat leukemia, which is a death sentence in the 60s. Holy shit, Night Mothism! That's fucking awesome! Like, you straight up beat leukemia? You're in remission for how fucking long? I didn't even know that was a thing. What are you, like, Eddie Brock in that one Spider-Man comic where he can never, like, he has cancer, but he just stays alive, and the doctors are like, what the fuck? Give me the lore, Night Mothism. No one in my family has ever beaten cancer. Yeah, who knows? Oh, do you not know how long it's been? Night Mothism, I'm curious. Alright. We can't pause for any longer. I can't wait any longer for a response. Saint Jimmy, thank you for the $10 donation. I really appreciate it. Very kind of you. Very based in Pog. I've been in remission since August. Oh, Pog. Hell yeah. Keep strong at it, Night Mothism. I'm rooting for you. Thank you so much for sharing. We are all rooting for you. Thank you so much for being here. And St. Jimmy, of course, thank you for the $10, as I said before. Had a combo with a friend today. He is one of the people who say politics shouldn't be in video games. His favorite game is Metal Gear Solid 5. I am shocked and chagrined. Yeah, conservatives have never been known for their strong media analysis. You have to understand, when they say they don't like politics in games, they mean, like, representation that feels like it's been motivated by, like, progressive politics in the corporate scene. Like, when they can detect anything that feels that way, they lose their shit.
Cure for this devastating disease. If I gave you money, according to your filings, it doesn't actually go to the research. It's just sitting in your own accounts. That's what's fucked up. So while we understand the necessity of due diligence and charitable engagements, yes, that is the whole point of a public charity. The insinuation of wrongdoing on the part of Open Hand Foundation is both unwarranted and unfounded. Again, I wouldn't say that it's unwarranted and unfounded. Nearly every accountant that I've shown this to has seen the red flags. We conduct our operation within a bound of legal and ethical standards. Again, according to your filings, the money is there. All you gotta do is donate it to the people that you claim to be donating to. Now here's another glaring problem. If you go back to any of their filings, for instance, this is from 2016, you can see that when they check their organizations, they call themselves a Section 501c3 exempt private foundation. The problem with this is, according to the IRS, they actually have two designations, private foundations and public charities. Generally, organizations that are classified as public charities have an active program of fundraising and receive contributions from many sources, including the general public. Again, that would be getting donations through IndieLand with like publicly viewed live streams from the general public. Again, that is one issue right there. I'm a computer scientist, so I really, really urge anybody that has background in tax accounting for charitable organizations, or hell, if the IRS is watching this, one of the things that Carl brought up
If the IRS is watching
very recently was the 5% rule, which again, this is a very complicated rule, but the idea is the U.S. government expects foundations to use their assets to benefit society, and they enforce it through Section 4942 of the Internal Revenue Code, which requires private foundations to distribute 5% of the market value, the fair market value of their endowment, each year for charitable purposes. So again, I want to see how this rule is done, because according to the filings we've seen, they haven't actually given any money. They've spent money on operating expenses, but again, we need to actually see if they're giving their money to a charitable organization. You know,
Bro, this could be bad. This could be bad, chat. Like, as in, we find out the resolution of this from a news report of, like, legal action being taken. Like, this is... Whew! Oh, boy. I'm really hoping for the best here. I really am. I like the Completionist a lot. I don't want this to be... I don't want this to end up being awful. Doesn't he have a kid? What's that have to do with any of this?
Again, I want everyone professional in the industry to look into this, because this is very... Again, when I said that this raises red flags to any CPA or accountant that I've shown, there's a reason for that. And again, before the organization tells us that they're doing the absolute best in responsible stewardship, I want them to explain all of this, because these are just a few discrepancies we found. I could only imagine what a professional auditor will find with this situation. Now, one of the red flags in this was Jirard even told us that he kind of knew about this, a couple months before. Before a while, he used to think that what was going on was money was being donated, until very recently he found out that, no, the money was still sitting in the account, and it actually started somewhat of a civil war within this organization as to, let's donate this money now, because he's a public-facing figure of this organization. He's going to face a lot of the backlash.
I knew it was sitting there at a certain point, and that's what made me proactively go about it. Like,
do you know when that point was?
I was made aware in 2021 when the money hadn't moved yet.
Years
and
ago.
that's what made me go, that's not fucking cool. And that's when I got personally involved to move it. And
did anyone...
2021 last year, 2022.
Yeah, did anyone tell you that the money was going somewhere?
He literally started this by saying, I don't know what to tell you, I don't have an explanation, and now he's explaining this. It feels like he's made something up on the fly, doesn't it? Like, why would he have said he doesn't know what to tell them before?
Somewhere before then. Were you being misled?
No. No one told me anything. I assumed that it was all going to a charity, and I assumed it correctly.
But the
Carl
reality
Jobs
is,
a white
if
nationalist?
you even knew that, how could you prepare for IndieLand?
Wait, is Carl Jobs a white nationalist? I've never gotten that impression from his content. Fortnite, is that real? He is? Am I thinking of somebody else instead of him? I haven't heard anything about that? Yeah, I haven't heard anything about that either. I'm pretty sure he's not. I think he just does, like, investigative, like, stuff on YouTube and exposing, like, crypto scammer type stuff. And, like... Yes, Sanderhall, he's regularly in Sargon's comments and stuff. Oh. Ooh. 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 That sucks. Yeah. One thing you guys also have to remember, though, about large mainstream YouTubers like Mutahar, though, is that there's not really this, like, there's not really any social, faux pas against being friends with, like, people on the far right. People in the mainstream YouTube sphere would shit on you if you expected someone not to be friends with Alex Jones. The idea of making things political like that is not really, like, something that flies, so it doesn't surprise me that Muda isn't really, like, either aware or cares about that. Muda talked to Vosh on stream once? Well, yeah, but, like, Muda's exact words are, like, losing friends over politics is dumb. Yeah, like, Muda doesn't believe that someone's political opinions should be something that makes you not be friends with them. Which, you know, believing we should enslave certain races of people and exterminate others is a political opinion, but I draw the line somewhere for sure. Some don't, but it's just kind of the state of normie politics online.
In 2023 or anything. This is a glaring issue that you needed to fix a long time ago. Now, from the statements that Jirard made on his streams for Indieland 2020 and various other Indielands, it leads everyone.
Carl Jops isn't the white nationalist. I think Fortnite is mistaking Carl for RWG, another GoldenEye speedrun person. I hope so. Everything I said before still stands, but like, yeah. Muda also runs a podcast with Nextaku, yeah. I'm really sorry, guys, but like, if you like a popular mainstream YouTuber, they're probably friends with people that think you shouldn't exist and should die, and they don't have a problem with that. It sucks, but most mainstream YouTubers are so like, you know, centrist brained that they don't see that as like a red flag for friendship. I'm used to it, yeah. It sucks, but, you know. So, like, South Park basically played a big part in teaching a whole generation of internet people that caring about shit is cringe.
Everyone to believe, realistically, that the money is going to some charities. Listen to this really closely.
Brother and I started a foundation called the Open Hand Foundation that raises money for dementia research and treatment for organizations all over the world. We're soon going to be partnering up with the Alzheimer's Association, currently working with the University of San Francisco, and we're kind of one of their main funding support partners going into all of this.
So, working with the University of San Francisco, I thought they were listed in your definition as a historical, like, organization, and you were looking for other people. Again, the claims that are being made are definitely subject to review here. But the most important thing about it is, like, going to be working with the Alzheimer's Association, which is super odd to me, because why do you have to run these long-term partnerships? If you're going to donate to the Alzheimer's Association, you should just be writing a check to them. If you're watching this stream and you hear that, in your head, you're thinking, yes, the money that I'm going to be donating is probably going to go to these established charities anyway. Normally when YouTubers run charities, they probably just link directly to that charity via a payment processor. But in the case of this, it actually went to that Open Hand Foundation. And the money was just stuck in that account, not being given to some of these organizations.
All bits, all donations, all super chats, all YouTube memberships, basically anything that's tied to donating or...
Haven't watched South Park, but it's mostly a parody of the parody. It is mostly parody the right. Or does it mostly parody the right? It parodies both sides fairly equally, though more recently it's been leaning more towards making fun of the left. But the right doesn't have media literacy, so they just kind of claimed South Park culturally, and a lot of people just take the wrong lessons from it.
Subscribing in a financial way to us is going to charity. We're not touching any of it. It's all going for a good cause. We're going to have a great weekend. We have a lot of games.
So when he says he's not touching any of it, when we talked to Jirard, he said that there was a couple of years that Indieland actually dipped into the Open Hand Foundation to cover...
I love that I can track the time of day that he's recording the video on his phone. I'm pretty sure that's not sunlight. I think that's actually like a street lamp from outside. I think he's recording this at 2 a.m. I like that I can watch the time on his phone that's sitting on the desk, and I can see how long it took him to record the video. That's fun. I like doing that. It's always funny when someone has a clock in the background.
For some expenses. So this is a false statement that's being made.
So Indieland is a separate thing from Open Hand.
Correct.
But
yes.
Were you saying that Open Hand was paying expenses for Indieland, though?
Only some years and no more than a couple $1,000s depending on the year. If it was too much money, just to make it right, because you're not supposed to really do that, especially when you have no operating expenses, I'd only reimburse myself and did it appropriately through the Open Hand when applicable, but not every year and no more than a couple $1,000s maximum.
If you touch any money from charity, even if it's for operating expenses, that's not money that's all going to charity. Not all of it at all. And of course, even when you look at the filings, $0 has been contributed or granted to some of these organizations that they claim to help.
All the money goes to the Open Hand Foundation, an organization that we started in honor of my mom, and all that money goes to dementia research. We don't touch any of it. We just work with the people who do need the money, and we help them do their thing.
So here he claims that he works with the people to help them do their thing. They don't touch any of the money, even though, as far as expenses have gone for operating their organization, it's been up to $125,000, rivaling a net contribution of $0 throughout their existence to these actual people that they claim to be helping, which again, is just fucked up.
We are raising money for dementia.
The fact that so much of the money has gone to the running expenses and none to the charity as well is such a bad look at best. Such a bad look at best.
Dementia research and honor my late mom, trying to help folks who've been impacted by dementia, working with organizations like USF, FTD Association of America, Alzheimer's Association of America, and so many more.
And there he lists who he's working with, which again contrasts with their actual statement they gave to me and Carl, where they were just evaluating potential beneficiaries. Again, if you could name these people, why couldn't you write a check to them? $650,000 is a very, very, very good amount to start actually making a difference in the fight against Alzheimer's. And even if you didn't have that amount, even if it was like $60 that you raised, because you raised it in charitable funds, you told the audience who you were raising it for, who you were working with, you have an obligation, a legal obligation to donate to those exact organizations. And again, to also respond to Jirard when we were talking, it's not about writing a check to any organization. It's about writing the amounts for those exact organizations that you've been listing throughout the years. Because for anybody watching, for anybody looking at this who's ever donated to Indieland, you want your money to go to the places that you were told.
For me personally, this was a really important project for FlyQuest to sponsor. I've had people in my immediate family that have suffered from dementia, people really close to me, so I've personally experienced it. And so when this initiative kind of came across my desk, it was easy to approve. Also, just for context, I'm Brian Anderson. I'm the CEO of FlyQuest. I'm not sure I actually introduced myself here at the beginning.
It looks like a crypto bro.
Great to meet everyone on the stream. Thank you so much for watching. Just really, really excited to help you guys out, participate. Thank you so much for using the space. And also wanted to do a quick announcement as well.
Sure.
FlyQuest is going to be supporting this initiative, not just for the space, but we're also going to be contributing $15,000 to the donations. Wow. Let's fire it off.
Wow. Do you think he knew that the money that he gave from his organization just sat in an account when he popped the confetti? That's a question I want to see. What do you think the CEO of FlyQuest is going to think when he sees this whole situation unfold before his eyes? That's the most messed up thing in this entire situation, too. But ignore the fact...
Does anybody have that guy's Twitter? That CEO's Twitter? Does anyone have his Twitter? Like, verified the real one? You're all spamming about the ads. Alright, we'll move on.
That this is a CEO donating a lot of money to, even average individuals who are giving money away in the chase of $2,000, right? From one user who said, Jirard, it was a pleasure meeting you in Frasier with my buddy Airdorf a few months back. Big fan, thanks for supporting game devs like us. Dementia runs in my family as well, so Indieland always holds a special place in my heart. Distribute all the hot sauce y'all can handle, protect Watts. Again, do you think this guy knew that his $2,000 was just sitting in an account instead of going to these charitable organizations?
Nobody knew.
That's the real, again, I can't stress it enough. That's the part that hurts to see the most. But again, like I said at the beginning, it really feels like this is negligence at best. But again, it really takes the IRS to investigate this and see what these expenses and what this organization was doing. Because from the outside looking in, it's incredibly weird to see money being raised, but not distributed as it should be. It is a wild situation. But again, the real damning part about this is not the fact that this is the completionist. This is somebody that, I do respect. I had respect for. This is a situation where it makes me question every charity, right? Because, again, I would never look into this because it's run on the foundation of his late mother, and especially covering an illness that I think a lot of people, especially people watching this video, know all too well. If you got elderly family in your life, I pray every day that I never have to see my mom and dad, or uncles and aunts go through dementia. I pray every day. Because it's a really scary situation to be in. And that's why, when I hear charity money hasn't been appropriated when it should be for stuff like this, it burns me on the inside. This isn't childhood tabloid gossip stuff. This is serious, serious situations that need to have federal agencies looking into. That's all I'm going to put into it. And again, Jirard, instead of thinking about the perception the public will have over this video or this news story that me and Carl are covering, you need to think about the fact that the money is there. It shouldn't have mattered if me and Carl sent a message to your organization and you were thinking, should I donate the money now? Is it going to make me look guilty or not? Look, at the end of the day, you messed up. But if the money is there, it's still not too late. It's never too late to donate to the charities you've listed, because that's the whole point of this.
Do it ASAP.
The whole point is, like the foundation says, to make a fucking difference. And making a difference starts with appropriating this money to the right people to make sure the fight against dementia is alive and well. Not money doesn't do anything if it's sitting in an account just operating payroll expenses or operating expenses for a charity
virtue
that should
signal
be
right
a foundation
now.
that should be donating. You
It's
know,
done
if
nothing.
we hadn't covered this, would the Open Hand Foundation have donated in the next year, the next 5 years, the next 10 years? It's a question I'll ask forever till the end of time. Now, I don't want anybody to walk into this and think charities are automatically bad. Not all charities are bad. This is an incredibly wild case of severe mismanagement of money that should never have happened. You know, when you start seeing when you see this situation, it makes you question every charity. I'm questioning every charity, especially YouTuber-run things nowadays. And what hurts the most about the story is the fact that the actual subject matter, the charity, the topic of it is so sensitive. I respected this YouTuber immensely who I covered. This wasn't a situation of me covering, you know, somebody that was automatically on my shit list.
By the way, do you guys want to know how I did a charity stream and, like, how simple it is? Like, you literally... This is what I did. Now, granted, simple one-off thing, so not, like, there's no company or anything made to make this, like, easier, but, or more complicated, to be honest. Literally just did a charity stream where it's like, all right, everybody, all the proceeds that go through this link are going to the ocean charity that Mr. Beast did, the Team Seas thing. They're going to Team Seas. And we ended up raising like 4,700 something bucks in one night. And then I just took that money and donated it through to the charity on their website through PayPal. And then they literally give you like a little plaque, like a little digital plaque that says, thank you, insert your name for the amount that you donated, and I posted it on Twitter. It's literally that simple. It's just that simple. The transaction takes 5 seconds. You can write a check. Show us. It's on my Twitter. This is from years ago when Team Seas was happening. Just search Xanderhall Team Seas on Twitter. It'll come up.
List anyway, somebody that I didn't like to begin with, somebody that automatically gave me bad vibes. This is a YouTuber I respected. And I will tell you right now, before I looked into the story with Carl, I wanted to believe this was some bad dream and we came across some wild discrepancy. But everyone that I've talked to, Jirard included, knows that this is a bad thing, knows that this shouldn't have happened. And the only way to make it right is to fucking donate this money. That said, though, ladies and gentlemen, if you like what you saw, please like, comment, and subscribe. Dislike.
Have you seen that the right is trying to advocate for defunding the IRS? Some Republican stooge, I forgot who it was, got raided by the IRS recently, and they had like helicopters and shit, and the Republicans are like, oh my god, look at the IRS, they're kicking out guns and helicopters, they shouldn't have this kind of power, this is awful, taxation is theft, yeah, it's fucking hilarious.